Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Head Canon Unlimited. Again, I'm your host, Head Canon, also known as Derek. I just want to take a moment to thank you all over the past month or so that started doing more long form videos versus shorts. Channel's grown a little bit. I'm now at 63 subscribers, so it should take me about another 7 to 8 years to catch up to some of the big guys out there. But you got to start somewhere, and I'm thankful for every subscriber that I have. So most of you guys, you see me. I'm on the in the chat of several live streams. You have 3POA, it's Chad and a few others out there. But I like more than just action figures and things like that. Again, I'm a man of many tastes, and so what I want to do is tonight I'm doing a video that I'm calling Headcanon's Random Things, and it's going to be my 5 YouTube channels that I subscribe to. That I like that's it's not toy related. So let's go ahead and start with that. So first of all, here we go. Again, Head Canon remind you to do all the YouTube things. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to my channel. Just so I make content. I don't mind if nobody's watching, but it's just a lot more fun when people are watching with that. So to start off, the first channel is a channel called Casually Comics, hosted by Sasha. Really good. I'm a big comic book fan. Growing up, still like them. It's hard to find, though, comic book content. People that review comics or go into the history of comics, it's not kind of biased. I love the show because Sasha does a really good job of going into the history of characters in comics. And sometimes it's just all videos on that, or even new comics talking about how they're coming up. What she likes, she's very fair and even-handed with it. It's almost like you're sitting out and listening to a college course on comic book history with this one. So this is kind of like whenever one of her videos pop up, I love to click on it because I know I'm just going to enjoy the content. And even though I consider myself a comic book nerd, I always learn something, or at the very least, it's something I had forgotten about a comic that I'd forgotten about, and I really like relearning things again. So it's real good with that. So the second channel I do is called The Professor of Rock. This is Adam Reeder. He's I believe he's a musician, but also he's a journalist. But he does these great, amazing videos on the history of various rock songs throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the rock decade. He just got really enthusiasm for those eras, and he goes in, he gets interviews with the artists, producers behind the songs, does several different types of videos from just the history of a song. My favorite feature that he does he will take a week of rock from the past, do the top 10 from that week. Then come and look at it through the lens of, now if those 10 songs come out today with streaming and views, recalculates that top 10 to see if they still hold up at those positions. And sometimes it's funny how some songs will move positions from 10 to up the ladder and also down the ladder, and some will even drop off the chart at all. It's just a really good one. You just love to listen to it. Always learn something new about music and rock and roll, and I just love the behind the scenes things about some of these bands that you never heard before. The third channel this is a newer channel. This is Dan Monroe's Movies, Music, and Monsters, and I'm just learning a little bit about Dan here, but he does these great in-depth videos about old science fiction movies, monster movies, suspense movies. We'll go into what happened with them. We'll look at some of what happened to some of the props from the film. The history about there's just so much stuff out there that was destroyed because they would make a movie and they would throw the props away. Or there's some people that actually taking the time to preserve some of that stuff, and he's actually done that with a few prop builds of some classic science fiction robots. Then look at some of the music from the past as well. He did like an Abbey Road Studios tour. Talked about the making of a few albums, stuff like that, and just those monsters is everything that you ever wanted to know about those movie monsters. It's very entertaining. Kind of has a formula to it, but I like that because he's got some catchphrases that you always look for in it. But every time I just learned such great stuff from that for you because I as a kid, I grew up with the 3 channels, and the UHH channel on Saturdays was those old 50s, 60s, 70s monster movies and science fiction movies. So a lot of the stuff I watched is like just to hear how that movie came to be, and then what its impact was that it had on the culture, or lack of impact at all as well. But it's just great. It's a great channel to listen to. This next channel, it's actually a series of channels. You may be familiar with this. It's called Today I Found Out. Simon Whistler hosts this. It's just an info channel. It's kind of a random things channel that they'll talk about all kinds of different topics, from how NASA learned to land on the moon, where the lizard people conspiracy theory started, and things like that. And actually, he's gotten so popular that he has several channels that have spun off into very particular topics. So there's one called Biographics, where he talks about historical figures. Then also one of my other favorites, Mega Projects, where he talks about these huge like buildings or military vehicles or feats of engineering that we've done in the past that we don't seem to be able to do nowadays. It goes in depth into it, and it's definitely real in depth. He does write something. He's got a team of writers, but it's just always one of these things is I love to learn things. I love to learn things that they go beyond just the Wikipedia page. And Today I found out in its sister channel, they're definitely one to check out. And this last channel, it's called The Charismatic Voice. I came across this channel because I ran across the typical, there's like thousands of YouTube reaction videos out there. People listening to certain kinds of music for the first time. And being Generation X, it's always get a kick to hear some people that like kids nowadays listen to some music I grew up with. But I came across this one because this is I'm going to mess her name up. I was practicing earlier today. Elizabeth Zarhoff. She is a trained opera singer, and she's done classical music, and she's done actually some music for video games and things like that. Never really grew up with anything but classical music. And so somebody got her started listening to and got her shoot a reaction video on some heavy metal music. And what is great about this channel is she's listening to songs she's never heard before, or maybe on the periphery have heard it, but analyzing it from the viewpoint of a classically trained singer. So she'll listen to it and go and talk about how the vocal cords work on all this stuff, but just how each song she's introduced to and each different genre of new music, I just get a kick out of the joy on her face when she hears something, because she's listening to them for the first time and experiencing music. And so usually what happens is she'll put a video and say, "Oh, I love this song, I want to see your reaction." So you have to go through a 30-minute reaction video, because for YouTube copyright's got to stop it, and she'll comment on it. And then I have to go through what she's done to go back and find the video and just watch the whole song to get it out of my brain as well. So there's all kinds of more. There's a lot more videos out there. YouTube channels I follow that runs the gamut of things. I find that it does mostly tend to a lot of history things, and I think probably next time I do this, I'll probably do my top 5 food YouTube channels I like to do so. But and then because there's several military channels I follow that I watch, and history channels and things like that. But as I get deeper into this new hobby of mine of YouTube videos, and I want to be focused more on the action figures, because I like having this focus. But I just want folks to understand that I come from this from a more broad viewpoint of things, and then also when I look at my toy YouTube subscriptions, I tend to gravitate towards more that are not just hey, here's a new toy, look at it. But those folks that understand the background of how that toy came to be, especially some vintage stuff that influenced it as well. So I want to put all those links to these channels in the description below. So please check them out. Check them out. Expand your horizons a little bit if you haven't done it. Also in the comments, if you want to throw in some channels that maybe you like that are along these same lines that I can check out. That's kind of how this thing grows as well. So with that, it's kind of a short video. Just wanted to put this out there. Again, thank you again. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, click the like, leave a comment. I'd like to see engagement a little bit more. Share the videos if you like. I'm thinking about at some point here in the future doing a live stream, but I'm going to kind of wait a little bit on that for a few things to happen as well. But other than that, you guys have a great Thanksgiving holiday, and have a good one. And I will see you again.